Real estate is probably the best way to preserve wealth and generate passive income. And can you guess which global city has the highest rental yields? It's not Hong Kong, not London, not Singapore, and not even New York. It's Dubai. But many people don't even know where to begin. So in today's video, I'll walk you through a complete step-by-step guide to buying your very first rental property. Starting with a simple question. How much money do you want to make? What a silly question to ask. Of course, you want to make as much money as possible. But rental property investing is a game of risks and returns. Your strategy could be minimizing risk but getting lower profits, or getting higher profits with higher risk. And in this quadrant, we have short-term rentals. With short-term, we're talking daily, weekly or monthly rentals like Airbnb. If you manage it right, properties like this can earn up to 30% more than a standard long-term lease. That's because the rental rates for short-term are much higher. Here's a quick example. This is a one-bed-in 5242 tower in Dubai Marina. The average yearly rate divided by 12 works out to 10.7 thousand dirhams monthly, but rented for a month on Airbnb, 16.3 thousand dirhams. That's a big jump, and that's for July, which is a low season. The price for December, for example, is 28,000. That's 3 times the difference. So even though you have additional costs to run a short-term rental, a 60 to 200% price difference makes up for everything. But like all good things, there is a trade-off. The first is that short-term rentals can be seasonal. In summer, it's slow. Bookings and prices dip, as we've just seen with the example of the one bed in Marina. Also have a look at the average Airbnb nightly rate across every month of the year. From June to August, it's not great, but October, November, January and February are your sweet spots. Second to this, you can't expect that your property will be filled every day of the year. In fact, a typical short-term rental property is only booked for 255 nights a year. So you need to expect vacancies. And the third is that during economic downturns, they get hit hard. Take a look at what happens to global travel during recession. According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, from 2007 to 2009 there was a 13% drop in international trips. This directly affected both the occupancy rates of holiday homes and the prices owners could charge. Short-term rentals can bring a lot of cash, but you have to take some risks. So if you're not willing to take those chances, you might prefer long-term rentals. These sit in the lower risk, lower returns quadrant. With a long-term rental, you can expect your tenant to sign for a year and potentially stay even longer. This means consistent income and less worrying about vacancies. Another bonus is that in Dubai, cash is paid up front. We're old school here, and tenants pay with 1 to 4 checks a year, but as the owner, you get a nice lump sum prepayment. Sounds pretty good. So what's the catch? Well, as we saw, a longer tenancy means a lower returns. And you're also locked into rental price. With short-term rentals, you can change the prices every day if you want to. If the market rates go up, you can adjust accordingly, but with long-term rentals, there are strict rules around changing it whenever you want. If the current rate is 10% below the market average, no increase. And even if the difference is up to 40 or 50%, you can only increase the rent up to 20%. That lack of pricing freedom is just part of the bigger trade-off when it comes to choosing long-term rentals. Because there is one key difference between short-term and long-term rentals – flexibility. With a short-term lease, you can choose to sell or stop renting it at any time. You can even come and live in the property yourself for the holidays. Long-term rentals aren't so simple. Not only are you stuck with a rental rate, but you also have to give your tenant a full 12 months notice when their lease is up. Unless your tenant breaks some serious rules, you can't just evict them. Only if they fail to pay rent, sublet the property without your permission, use the property for illegal activities or something other than living in it, cause damage, make structural changes, violate public safety, or fail to comply with legal requirements. So generally, if you're after high returns and are willing to take some risks, short-term rentals might be for you. And if you want stability and less hassle, go for long-term lease. If you want personalized advice on the best option for you, message us on WhatsApp and we can help you decide. But even the best rental strategy won't work if you're in the wrong location. You have to choose your area wisely. What's the best area for a rental property in Dubai? This could have been simple. For long-term, go for residential area. For short-term, choose the most desirable touristic one. But it's not that easy. I'll break it down with some real examples. Let's take Blue Waters. On paper, it looks perfect for tourists. It's only 50 acres, so it's walkable, but really well connected to the rest of Dubai. It's a 10-minute walk to Dubai Marina on foot and 25 minutes to downtown by car. It's a really lively area with over 200 retail and dining outlets, street performances, and it's home to Ain Dubai observation wheel. Sounds ideal, right? Well, I have some bad news. Blue Waters is overpriced. While it looks attractive, the rent-to-price ratio is not that good. Let's look at the numbers. The average price for one bed is $1.3 million, making the long-term yield around 6%. Your net short-term yield, after all the costs, is roughly 7.5%. For a two-bed, it'll cost $2.4 million, with a 4.7% yield long-term and 6% short-term. And a three-bed is even lower, costing $3.5 million at a 4.5% for long-term and less than 6% short-term yield. Now compare that to a few years ago. In 2019, a one-bed cost $670,000 US, giving you a long-term yield of 11.8% and a 14.7% short-term yield. Two-bed was $930,000 US, so it's an 11.8% long-term yield and a 15% short-term yield. And a three-bed outperformed the rest, costing $1.3 million US, with a 13% long-term and massive 16.5% short-term yield. Blue Waters can teach us one big lesson: timing matters. If you can get into a developing area early, before it explodes in value, then you can lock in a great price and enjoy the returns. But of course, it's a bit riskier. Now let's look at long-term rentals. You want to focus on the livability of the area, meaning solid residential infrastructure, good schools, parks, hospitals, shopping malls, and easy access to main hubs. Let me show you what I mean. Back in 2021, you could rent a one-bedroom apartment in Dubai Hills Estate for around $16.3 thousand US per year. Fast forward to today, and that's nearly doubled. So what happened? Dubai Hills got mostly built out. The Dubai Hills Mall was finished in 2022, and it's one of the best malls in Dubai. There is an American hospital and James Wellington Academy, a school with a great rating. There is Dubai Hills Park, an 18-hole golf course, and a business park with modern office spaces. Now if we compare current rental rates to the initial prices 5 years ago, the rent-to-price ratio is really strong for long-term rentals. One-bed units in Dubai Hills rent-to-price ratio is 10.3%. Two-bed units in Dubai Hills rent-to-price ratio is 10.9%. And three-bed units in Dubai Hills offer a notably high 12%. Areas like Dubai Hills offer stronger, more stable returns, because it was designed to be extremely attractive to residents looking to settle. So timing and infrastructure are everything when you're choosing the area. Then it's time to move on to step 3. Selecting a project. This is where a lot of investors get it wrong. Tons of mistakes can be made, but my team will save you from them. We'll figure out exactly what's best for your goals, run the numbers, and help you lock in the right property. We'll handle everything every step of the way, completely free of charge. You can reach out to us on WhatsApp, scan the QR code, or click the link in the description to get a free consultation. And selecting the right project is one of the trickiest parts of the process, because developers love to dazzle us. They'll try to tell you that there's superior quality, huge number of amenities, expensive kitchen appliances, and pools on the balcony will make you millions from rent. But this doesn't guarantee a good rental project. How can you spot one? Well, there are 3 ways. First, ask yourself, who's your ideal tenant? And more importantly, what would they want? Imagine you're targeting affluent residents. You're choosing between 2 projects in Dubai Islands. Both are low-rise and both have beach access. Now here's the difference. This one is right under a flight path, and this one is further from the flight path and doesn't have just any beach access. It has private beach access. Which one do you think your target renter would prefer? When they go to market, a tenant will go for the one where they can avoid tourist crowds and without airplane noise. It's about what makes life most comfortable for the renter. Second, find the project that stands out. It doesn't have to be the most unique project in Dubai. Often it's enough if it's unique for the neighborhood. Take Al Furjan. Here's what the normal apartment looked like here. And then Imtiaz enters the market with Westwood. It's a 12-story residential building with a mix of studios and one-bedroom apartments. But it's fully furnished and designed, it has high-quality kitchens, and general build quality is on another level compared to other apartments in the neighborhood. So an average studio rental rate in Al Furjan is $13,000 and a one-bed is $19,000. But for a Westwood apartment, a studio's rental rate is $17,000, and a one-bed is 26,000. Just because Westport is a unique building for this area, the rental rates are 35% higher. The third way to spot a good rental opportunity: have a need for speed. The faster your project is built, the faster you can start generating income. Always check your developer's delivery timeline and their track record. Do they normally deliver on time? Now you've locked in the project. The next step is picking the right unit, and it's really easy to do it wrong. This is because the bigger, flashier unit isn't necessarily the best choice. In fact, a smaller unit might bring you a better return. Let's take a look at the two completely different areas in Dubai. In GLT, an average ready studio is priced at around $205,000 and can be rented out at an average rate of 17.5 thousand US dollars, giving you a rent-to-price ratio of 8.5%. But as the number of bedrooms increases, the rent-to-price ratio goes down. Even adding just one bedroom brings your rent-to-price down to 7.5%. And once you get to 3 bedrooms, the average rent-to-price ratio is 5.8%. It's the same for villas. In Arabian ranches, smaller units show around a 5% rent-to-price ratio, and larger 4 to 5 bedroom units sit at around 4%. So you might be thinking, great, I'll just buy the smallest unit every time. Not always. Let's rewind to the COVID years. The graph shows the average rental rates for one-bedroom apartments in downtown. From 2019 to 2021, the average rates dropped by 20%. This is a mix of new and renewed contracts. Now look at 2 beds. They dropped by 14%. And here are 3 beds. The decline is just 10%. And the same trend is relevant for other areas. So the insight is, smaller units offer better returns, but bigger units are more resilient during crisis. But what if you have to choose between 2 similar units? Again, ask yourself, what your future tenant would want. I can speak from personal experience here. Several years ago, my wife and I were considering 2 two-bedroom units in the Grand Creek Harbor. They have quite similar layouts, and we know that the off-plan stage the owners paid the same price per square foot. Both had a view of the waterfront and the Burj Khalifa and a similar rental rate. What do you think we chose? Unit 01 has a quite spacious open-plan kitchen and a dining space, sitting at 4.7 by 4.3 meters. It has a generous amount of storage with a full walk-in closet in the master. Now Unit 02 also has an open-plan kitchen, but smaller. Actually, it's smaller than the one bedroom in the same building. There is also significantly less storage space than in Unit 01. Of course, we went for the first unit. Now its rental price is $55,000 per year. And the second unit is now rented for $49,000 for a year, because practicality matters for tenants. In that example, the views between the apartments were similar, but usually developers will slap a higher price on units on higher floors with better views. But is it worth it to pay more for the views? Open water and landmark views can boost the rental rates by roughly 20%. If the sales price difference is less than that, then it may be worth it. Once you found the best unit, the next step is securing a payment plan that fits your investment strategy. When it comes to payment plans, we're talking about more than just convenience. The payment plan you choose can completely change your investment returns. Imagine you buy a $1 million apartment and pay the full sum in cash up front. You factor in your acquisition costs, the purchase price, DLD fee, and the admin fees. All this comes to $1,042,000 US dollars. Your property is still under development, so you won't see any rental income for the next 3 years. But in year 4, it's finally ready and you rent it out for a net income of $100,000 US dollars a year after service charges. Setting aside property value appreciation, you've made back $200,000 US dollars over 5 years. Your cash-on-cash return comes to just over 19% in over 5 years. Not bad, but what if you used a different strategy? Let's see what happens with a flexible payment plan. Say you go for a 50-50 plan. The first 50% of your payment will be paid over the 3-year construction period. In the first year, you'll pay 30%, so your initial investment comes to $342,000 US dollars. In your second year, you'll pay another $100,000, and another in year 3. The remaining $500,000 US dollars is then paid in year 4, after the property handover. So your rental income will still be $200,000 over 2 years. And your total acquisition cost will be the same $1,042,000 US dollars. Looks like there is no difference in returns, but there is a big one. Because that extra cash you held onto during the 5 years, you can invest it elsewhere. A savings account, stock market, crypto, you name it. And because this investment will generate returns too, You can count these profits as well. Let's say you play it safe and expect a 5% annual return over this period. You could make an extra $90,000 during the 3-year construction phase. And it makes a massive difference. Your total 5-year return becomes $290,000, increasing your cash-on-cash return to 28%. You didn't take any major risks, you just used the flexible payment plan to your advantage. Once your property is ready to rent, it's time to move on to the final step. Because managing a property is a mission. But you don't have to do it alone. Step 6. Build a team. It's not impossible to manage rental property in Dubai on your own, but if you want to save time and make more money, you need professionals. If you're investing in a short-term rental, a good property management company is totally worth it. They know what they're doing and they're gonna save you an enormous amount of time. They have the scale and expertise, and they manage hundreds of similar properties. They work on a profit-sharing basis and take around 20% of your revenue. Here's what they take off your plate: marketing and listings. They'll create polished listings with professional photography and detailed descriptions, and post them on platforms like Airbnb. This massively increases your exposure and keeps the property booked. Pricing and revenue management. They use market data to update your nightly rate dynamically, so you're always maximizing revenue. Yes, booking and communications. They handle all inquiries, check-ins, check-outs, and any issues during their stay. Housekeeping and turnover maintenance. They'll schedule cleaning, restock essentials, organize maintenance, and if they need to, fix anything guests break. Licensing. Short-term rentals in Dubai need a permit. Property managers will handle the licensing, reporting, and make sure you tick every legal box. Financial management. They collect rent, deduct their fees, and deposit your profit. You'll get a clean financial statement every month to track your earnings. If you're going a long-term route, it's much easier. There is one tenant a year, meaning fewer turnovers and a lot less work. But that doesn't mean you should do it alone. A real estate broker can save you time. And the best part is that they're usually free to work with. Their commission is paid by the tenant signing the contract, so you have nothing to lose. A real estate broker can help you advertise the property. They'll create a great listing and post it on Dubai's major portals like Property Finder and Bayut. Screen tenants. They'll handle the background checks and financial verification. Negotiate the lease. They'll get the best terms and make sure everything complies with RERA and DLD rules on your behalf. Collect the rent. They'll collect the checks and deposit them into your account. Conduct move-in and move-out inspections. They'll prepare a report at the end of the tenancy, so if anything is damaged at the end, you're covered. Handle lease renewals and exits. When the lease ends, they'll help you renew or find a new tenant. So that's just a high-level roadmap, and if you'd like to go deeper and secure the best option for you, drop us a message. And if you want to do more prior research, I recommend learning about the best areas to invest in rental property. Check out this video.